Снайпер! Контакт! Прикрой меня! Я должен перезарядиться!
Alright, folks. Now, there are a lot of contents on the Russian common test for patch 1.29. It's like R 1.26, big end of summer patch. So we'll have to cover all the new 3D styles in a new separate video. It takes way too long to cover everything. A Tron Object 268 version number 4. A Witcher inspired CS63. It's their Hurricane for Onslaught, but actually has a burst fire autoloader, like with the Char Model 75. What? What? 2 round 105mm burst for 4 rounds after 5 seconds between each burst. How the hell does that work? I have no idea. But I got the ST62 skin to work for Clan Wars, so we'll take a look, as well as the BZ75 skin from the Chinese server. So I'll modify the script and make this skin work, but we'll also take a look at the difference between Battle Pass on the Russian server compared to ours. So this is our Panzerkampfwagen Mark 7 with the waffentrager theme, Battle Pass style coming soon, but compare this to the Russian server and also the Battle Pass of waffentrager. This looks a lot better. It has animation, it has glowing blue railgun of a thing, I guess, but yeah, okay. We have headlights. Yay. Oh, they don't have headlights. Alright, fine. So with that being said, make sure you go back and check out other vehicles that we have already covered. It's like watching season 10 of a franchise when you have only watched season 2. So get caught up on stuff like the FE205B Alligator or U18T. What the hell is a U18T? It's a artillery piece. Assault artillery. U18T ISU 2SH artillery piece. That was a bad idea. But get caught up. So with that being said, let's take a look at the hidden vehicles on the Russian common test. It's a balloon of a KV-1 T-115. At a distance, it's like a chibi or cartoon KV-1. It has a silhouette, but it's slightly smaller, slightly. The same suspension on most Russian medium tanks, like a T-28 or T-29. It's rubber core too, kind of like the BT series, slightly, but it's a medium tank. Looks like a cartoon KV-1, but not exactly. Has 2 boobs at the front, the mini turrets with machine guns. It's possibly for holiday ops, possible, but God, what is this? Also premium too, based off of a T-29 medium tank. So, alright, it's not bad looking, but how good are the stats? It's a 76mm. Pin is not that great. DPM is not that great. Okay, 5-man crew. Fits a KV-1, but it's a medium, so you're missing a radio operator if you only have high tier Russian medium tanks. It fits a T-34-85 pretty well, but whatever. So, pin is okay for a medium tank. If it has the mobility, then it's not bad, but yeah, that DPM doesn't really cut it. It should be about 1600 or so for that penetration. If it's a little bit better, like 120 or 130, then that's a more respectable DPM for a higher pin, but the pin is not getting there. Not really. 5 degrees gun depression, 45 for elevation. That's pretty high. Accuracy, if. Aim time, if. Reload time, if. Okay, I mean, it's a whatever filler for holiday ops, I guess, but 50 at the hull front, 40 at the hull sides, and the same for the turret. 560 for health. It's about average, but yeah, it has no armor. Well, I'm using it at 120. Has 200mm pin. Yeah, that's not the common thing at tier 5. Let's use a 75mm with about 110, 105 millimeters of pin. So yeah, it'll go through. Yeah, it'll go through. Only 50 millimeters of armor. It'll go through. It's practically a large light tank. 40 at the hull sides. It's a large light tank. It should be pretty fast. So segue into mobility. 21.7 horsepower per ton ratio. Not bad. 33 tons. 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Very fast hull traverse. It's a fast whatever of a medium tank with a okay-ish of a gun, right? You have to shoot people in the ass to pin, but yeah, camo's not that great. Not really. It's like a pseudo combat medium tank of a camo. Usually it's about 15% or better, especially for lower tier, but view range, if kind of measly, and radio is kind of crap. It's only medium. It's middle tier. It doesn't really matter that much, but not a bad filler. I mean, it's okay. It's a weird medium tank hybrid of a KV-1 chassis thing. It looks like a KV-1 at a distance, but up close, yeah, not really. All right, moving on to their SFAC 105. They call it the Schneider Oie, whatever, however you pronounce that thing, but twin barrel, French waffentrager inspired tank destroyer. Now this version on the Russian common test is a lot better than our super test. A lot better. Does not take super long to prep the salvo of the double shot. Does not take super long to lock the barrel or the breech after the double shot. So this thing actually has 3,700 DPM. Just constantly spamming the 105. So shooting it all the time, but yeah, it's waffentrager-esque of a French vehicle, just with twin 105s. Yeah, 105 twin barrel. It's a lot better to prep. It's 2 seconds. Is it 2? It's 5 seconds switching between each shot, right? Yeah, it's 2 seconds to prep. 2 seconds of lock time. That's a lot better than our version on the super test. Our version, if you remember, that we have already covered is... Where the hell is this super? There it is. Putting out the wrong freaking picture. So, our version is 4 seconds to prep the salvo and 5 seconds of lock time before you start to reload for 10 seconds. It's not great. It has the penetration granted and the standard alpha damage, but that's not great. Accuracy, not that great for sniping. Very quick aim time for a double gun thing. That's very quick. This is completely different. It has less penetration granted and less alpha, but takes only 4.8 seconds to reload. That is nuts. It takes about 10 seconds to load 2 shells. Now granted, there's a 5-second delay between spamming of the shells, right? You cannot just spam between each and 4 seconds. It's close still. For 300 alpha, you're practically firing this gun whenever you can. Just wait like 0.3 seconds for a full reload, and then you can go again, right? But 2 seconds to prep the salvo and 2 seconds of lock time. It's a whole lot better to prep the salvo of 600 alpha damage than prepping it for about 800. But it's 4 seconds. No targets will be available staying in the open for 4 seconds. They're nuts. And you have no armor to counter, right? If they spot you, you're dead. So you are smoked. But accuracy, not bad. 0.34 and 1.7 seconds of aim time. It's not 1.6, but still good. This is a whole lot better version of the vehicle. A whole lot better. Crew of 5. Fits the Foshes. What's not to like, right? This is a whole lot better vehicle, but then again, the Russian servers balance and meta is completely different than our balance and meta. Like, for example, the concept number 5 tier 10 British wheel medium tank has no terrain resistance it can go through mud the same speed as pavement. So we're going to cover a lot of these, but yeah, their balancing is completely off the charts. Just whacked. So if you don't believe me, Russian 1.28. Let's see, constant number 5. Terrain resistance going through mud is the same as going through hard terrain. And 0.12, that is nuts. So 70 kilometers per hour top speed without turbocharger going through mud is insane. Going through swamps or whatever crevice, that is crazy fast. So their balancing is off the charts. So take it with a grain of salt, but has better health than our version. I mean, only 30mm of armor compared to our 40mm. Yay, 40mm. It has more health. What the hell? And this thing is basically paper. It's a big target too. It's a big target. Really? The gun is not actually armor. It's only space armor, but it doesn't count. It's like shooting the tracks. You'll have a module damage, perhaps, on the gun, but shoot through the vehicle and only module damage the gun without dealing actual damage. That's kind of funny, but yeah, it's paper armor. Nothing whatsoever. The ammo rack or loading system thing is paper armor as well, but possibly just damaging the loading mechanism or even the ammo rack if you shoot right here into this bulge on both sides of the vehicle. But yeah, that's good to know. I wonder if it applies to our version of the SFAC. It perhaps does. And this vehicle actually reached the common test faster than our version, funny enough. But yeah, no armor whatsoever. Horsepower per ton ratio, respectable. Top speed, respectable. Weighs about 27 tons. Hull traverse, not bad. Compare this to 22 horsepower per ton ratio and 60, so slightly slower, but somehow weighing less on our version. What the hell? That's interesting. It weighs more? Oh, okay, just 2 tons more. Somehow. Alright, fine. But yeah, slightly slower, but not that bad. Not really. Yeah, not that bad. Not really. With that firepower, I'll gladly take the trade. I'll gladly take some hit to the mobility. It's not that bad. But yeah, this DPM with that loading time of the salvo, dramatically better than this thing. Dramatically better. And the accuracy too. Oh, God. So, camo, not bad. 0.88.87. Not as good camo too, surprisingly. Oh, interesting. What about view range? 360 compared to 390. Oh, pfft, come on. 30 meters is big difference at tier 8. Big. Yeah, this version is a lot better on the SFAC 105. Alright. I mean, Russian balancing, whatever. They have flamethrowers, so technically a flamethrower cockroach 1520 runs to this thing and flamethrowers you to pieces. But then again, we have the Czech autocannons coming soon. Yeah, different balancing. Different. This thing, it's a 283-esque of a heavy tank at tier 8 for the Russians. The turret kind of looks like the Object 590, just a little bit chunkier, but the hull is dramatically chunkier and more square shape, more edges than the boot shape 283. It's not a bad looking vehicle for a premium, and we don't have a premium version of a ISM-esque of a rear mounted turret Russian heavy tank. It is premium, so yeah, we don't have a rear mounted ISM or Object 705-esque of a vehicle, right? If I remember correctly, the Turcheniev KV4 doesn't count. KV4 KTTS is a tank de shore, doesn't count. Fine. 122. DPM is not bad for heavy. Penetration standard. Okay, accuracy could be better, but then again, it's Russian. Only a 4-man crew, surprisingly. I would expect one more loader for this vehicle, but it's Russian. 0.4 accuracy is practically standard nowadays for all Russian heavy tanks. It's not the worst, but it's not 0.44 or 0.42 for that matter. 8 degrees gun depression and 20 elevation. Standard alpha damage. Aim time, it's alright. Not the worst. But 1,600 health and 150 for the hull front, 90 for the hull sides, 250 for the turret front. How good is the actual armor on this thing? Yeah, we're not using a 75, we're using a 120 with about 200, let's say 105 about caliber. Upper plate, about 280mm effective. It's a slope 150, that is good. Lower plate, I mean, you have to have a weak spot. Yeah, only 140 at a weaker angle for the lower plate. That's okay. Cheeks are sloped. Engine deck is only 30. Don't get too close to face hug. They'll overmatch the engine deck and just basically jam a shell right there. Yeah, overmatch the roof of the hull. Alright, cupola. Kinda small, but it's only 120. And 200 on the top with periscopes in front. So sometimes just damaging the periscope without actually damaging the cupola or the vehicle. But hull scrape is that V-shaped hull? No way. It's 90, but that would be crazy if it's V-shaped at the rear. I can't even see it. It's kind of V-shaped, right? The front end is flat, but yeah, the front end, the engine, or just right beneath the engine, is flat. It's square, but in the rear, it's a V shape. That is so troll. This thing is good at side scraping. It's also slope upwards on the sides. It's only 90, right? It's not that good compete against a KV4 side armor, but it's V-shaped. So auto bounce. So don't expose the little cheeks right here, but not bad. Not bad, right? I would prefer this vehicle over the Turcheniev KV4. But yeah, horsepower per ton ratio is alright for a heavy. It weighs about 53 tons. Top speed of 35, reverse of 15. It's a heavy tank, but yeah, not bad. It's like a medium tank-esque of a turret design, but has lots of armor in front. Camo, heavy tank, not the worst, not a super heavy. And view range, standard 350 meters, which is crap, but that's Russian at tier 8. This is not a bad vehicle, right? I would gladly prefer playing this thing than something of this. This is a medium. It's not exactly this vehicle. It is rear mounted, right? But yeah, this vehicle feels better than this thing. If this thing also has a V-shaped hull armor, we can debate about it. But yeah, I'll gladly take this vehicle, the 265T, over this thing. This thing is boring, doesn't have the auto reloader like with the Russian server. We already covered a lot of these, but yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's a lot better than a 283 boot of a medium tank pretending to be a heavy tank. This thing feels good. We don't have a premium rear mounted turret for a Russian heavy tank, right? At least I don't remember. Yeah, the most popular is the 703 or 252U for now. But alright, moving on. ATAC II Tier 9 Premium American Light Tank. This is interesting. It's like a Stingray in light tank, quote unquote, classification, right? It's not exactly a light tank. It's a combat light medium tank. So like a Stingray or something of the sorts, like a Sheridan also, but it's big, it is chunky, it's like a medium tank without telling me it's a medium tank. But yeah, the turret is kind of Chieftain-esque or Merkava-esque. the hull front is somewhat piked with a plate above it. It could be amphibious. I cannot read Russian, but it could be amphibious. Competing against a PT-76 or what the hell is that? So BTP-50? PT-76 is the NT-76, the Russian letter thing, whatever. But yeah, basically losing to the Sheridan at the very bottom. Interesting. So premium tank makes the bonds at tier 9. It is an autoloader, 90mm, 3 rounds in the clip, very quick. Time between each shot, 1.8 seconds, 17 seconds to load the clip. Not bad. I mean, it's technically about 720 alpha damage burst or so. DPM is okay, fine. It's a light tank. It's a medium light tank. Accuracy could be better. Oh, right. It is a 4-man crew. Does fit a Sheridan, so that's nice. Most of the time, it's like 3-man crew for a T-71 or so, but not bad. Yeah, DPM could be decent, I guess, for an autoloader, but 210mm of pin and 255 for gold shell. Okay. Very fast traversed. Gun depression 2. Quick aim time. Not a bad gun. But in the meta, if there is such a thing, of the Czech light tanks, then auto cannons would be a big deal. But 1350 health, 32 at the hull front, 160 for the turret front. For a light tank with that sloping. What the hell? It's a light tank. What the? It has actual turret armor. So sloped turret is actually about 300. What the hell? On a light tank, you nuts. 400 on top of the gun. Around the gun, it's about 800. It's about 210. It is surprisingly troll with the turret, but the cupola is only 60, so you have a weak spot. Upper plate 32. Yeah, okay, you'll get pinned. Lower plate 32. It is a weird, futuristic looking shape, right? It's like a pseudo Merkava. Pseudo, but 25 for the hull sides. It has some potential to bounce with the turret. Also with the gun depression too, but is it oscillating? No, it's not. It's not oscillating. So it's just exactly the mantlet moving down. So you have better gun depression by looking downwards. 8 degrees, 9 degrees. Surprising turret armor is surprising. Alright. Mobility wise, 30 horsepower per ton ratio, 65 kilometers per hour top speed, weighs about 21 tons. Very quick and nimble. It's a light tank. Camo is not great. Camo for a light is not great. Only 14%. Usually, even the medium. The median is about 18% or at least 16%. This thing has a medium tank camo for a light tank. Now granted, you keep the camo while moving, but this is a medium tank. This is not a light tank. It's also not a combat light tank like with the Czechs, so you cannot have that big burst damage, even with high explosive, out of this vehicle. So not that big of a damage dealer, but you could troll a few shots with the turret. Kind of weird design, right? That's kind of weird. And view range, 410, not bad. For a tier 9, not bad. But it is a premium vehicle, so there are a few gives and takes. But camo-wise, for a light tank, that is crap. You're moving constantly. You're not slowing down and trying to passive scout. You're not doing that. Not even close. But play this thing like a Wolfpack pseudo medium tank, and you should be fine. But if there are more corridor maps, right, this will perform a lot better. If it's an open field map like Prokhorovka, you're not outspotting a ELC EVN 90. Not even close. You're getting spotted by a tier 8. So it's not a bad looking vehicle. I do prefer fancy looking vehicles, but okay. And finally, a new tier 10, not like the XM57, a Polish Czolg P. This thing is big. This thing is massive. has 4 tracks. It doesn't have the multi-track system, I believe, as with the Yo tanks, but it's like a Polish AE Phase 1 with a T-110E4-esque of a turret with a big ass cupola in the back for a double machine gun. If the actual autocannons could apply to the mini turret, I will be so happy. If all the auxiliary or secondary weapons will actually work instead of the main cannon, that would be so good. But weird egg shape of a rounded hull. So kind of looks like space armor on the hull sides. Is that space armor? Right? It's like a IS-7 or any of the Russian vehicles mixed with a E-100-esque of a side skirt. It's a V-shape with a side skirt. That could be good. That could be actually crazy. So let's take a look. It's tier 10. It's a special vehicle. Assembly shop. 130mm. Penetration. Standard-ish, but has better alpha damage for a 130 against like 490 or so. Accuracy, aim time, as you would expect. DPM, not bad. I mean, 2,500 is not bad for a tier 10 super heavy, but crew of 5. Is the 60 TP like crew of 4? Huh, I don't remember. Split jump cut to a 60 TP if I can remember correctly. Jesus. Yeah, crew of 4. It's not crew of 5. Where the hell you get the radio operator from? Where the hell do you get a radio operator from? Like a tier 6? Tier 7? Alright. Kinda weird crew layout, but firepower wise, yeah, DPM with the 100% crew is 2,600. Without the rammer, not bad. Accuracy, not bad. 2.3 seconds, not bad. 8 degrees gun depression, also not bad. And traverse, decent enough. Penetration alpha bite, not bad. So, yeah, the gun actually is pretty comfortable, but how good is the actual armor? From this angle, it kind of looks like a CS-44. Is it CS-44 or whatever the hell the crevice is? Let's see, Polish. Yeah, it kind of looks like the crevice on this thing. Yeah, it kind of looks like the crevice on that thing, except longer and bigger. Kinda, slightly. Alright, how good is the actual armor? 2,700 health. Respectable. 350 hull front. 350 turret front. And 120 hull sides. Oh my word. Oh my god. No. Upper plate is about 400 to 700. The middle is only 260. Fine. Jam a gold shell right here into the driver viewport. You'll pin. Lower plate 150. So hold down with 8 degrees. You'll be fine. But cupola, like the E4, it's 200. Still, it is rounded 200. It's 240 on the cupola. That is nuts. It looks like a weak spot, but actually it's not. Interesting. You're not going through the cheeks. You're not going through the mantlet. No. Not even close. The only weak spot from the front, without the cupola, is the driver hatch, or driver view slit. Especially against gold shell, but yeah, this thing is still pretty tough. Upper plate, don't even think about it. It's so rounded. So gold shell of a Jagdpanzer E100 cannot go through. Not even close. 30mm of space armor. Yep. 120 for the hull side. This thing is good. This thing is great. It's 120. Yeah, it doesn't feel that thick in comparison to like 150 or something, or 160 on the IS-4. But it has side skirts, like with the E100. I would love this thing in an assembly shop, right? I would love it. Not a Vickers main battle tank. Ew, gross. This thing is exciting for assembly shop. It's not as modern, right? It is more retro, but big ass chunky body. There are no V shape. It's just pure flat armor on this thing. Yeah, pure flat. Is that V shape? We have to make sure. It kind of looks like V shape from this angle. It is V shape. What am I talking about? It should be V shape, right? It kind of looks flat, but where the hell does the V shape come in? I think it's for the slightly for the bottom, for the support of the rollers. That's a V shape, but above, for the return rollers, those are flat. You're not talking about side skirts. Side skirts is V shape. You're not shooting those side skirts. I would love this thing. This is V shape. The bottom is V shape. The middle for the return rollers, that's flat, but it's still 120 with tracks behind it. This is a very good vehicle. I don't even have to look at the mobility. Is it super slow? Not really. 12.4, that's alright. And 34 kilometers per hour top speed, that's still fine. But 72 tons, it's a chunky, meaty of a boy. Holy crap. Hull traverse is also not bad. 27 degrees per second. Camo's crap, of course. It's a heavy tank. And view range, respectable, 400. I would love this for assembly shop. No question about it. Does it have the WoT-RU multi-track system? No, it does not. Damn it. Also, the AE Phase 1 doesn't have it too, but it should update with multi-tracks. It's nice looking, right? I mean, theoretically, you can still move with the reverse pair, behind pair of tracks if the front gets blown off, but no. They will apply the mechanic to so many vehicles, if not just the WoT-tanks, but no, you have only the WoT-tanks with the special mechanics of driving away and retreating if you get your tracks blown off. But this is a fine vehicle. It kind of feels balanced slightly. It's still good by all means. It's still very tough of an upper plate. Side skirts too, tough cupola too. Turf is impenetrable. Only weak spot is like with the 60TP slightly, right? Kind of like with the 60TP with the little raised driver slit thing. So that's the weak spot, but upper plate is good. Lower plate is the weak spot, but then again, okay. Cupola is a little bit more prominent but than the 60TP, but it's still thicker than this cupola. Huh. I wouldn't mind playing it. I really wouldn't mind. Yeah, the weak spot is the driver hatch thing, or driver compartment. Yeah, lower plate and the cupola. But yeah, 220 compared to 240. It is bigger on this thing. A lot bigger, but it's big. It's in the center, which is sometimes a benefit, sometimes a downside. But yeah, I wouldn't mind playing this thing. I wouldn't mind. And finally, a half of a new vehicle. They didn't have the XM57. So it's at tier 10 now compared to our tier 8. And it is 4-man crew still. Is it the same for our version? I wonder. Let's just pull up the actual tier 8 version to compare. 4-man crew, yep. Looks the same, performs differently. It is the 155 still, but better DPM. And accuracy, aim time feels a little bit better, right? Penetration is slightly better by like 20. If I remember correctly. 15. Yeah, better DPM dramatically. Better accuracy, better aim time. Yep. A lot better aim time. Holy crap. 13 degrees of gun depression. What the hell? Compared to 7. 75 degrees per side of traverse arc. That's still the same. Fine. Where the hell do you get 13 degrees of gun depression from this? Jesus. How the hell do you get 13 degrees? It's 15 for elevation compared to 18. 18. It gets better gun angles, but yeah, okay. I mean, hull down with this thing is a monster. So how good is the actual? What the hell is this, siege mode? There's a siege mode. Oh, that's okay. 13 degrees from siege mode. that makes more sense, right? That definitely makes more sense. It's like 13 degrees. From where? Your ass? Alright, that makes more sense. Alright, 1900 health. 300mm at the hull front compared to like 150 or something? 121. So, buffing the hull armor. But, let's see. Just to compare. Just so we have a reference. But, front armor is about 200mm. That's whatever. That's a hybrid of a pad chassis practically, but how good is the Russian version? It's 300 on the upper plate. It's 180 well sloped. The beak right in the middle is 150 to 200mm. There's a strip of 300. Very small strip, but lower plate 140. So more effective at hull down because upper plate will bounce the shots now, but turret front 130 still, and the hunchback is 200, 110 above the turret and mantlet and such. It's stronger on the turret too. I mean, granted the sloping is the same, but yeah, the hunchback is stronger. 165 compared to like 220 or something, 215. Yeah, the hunch in the back is stronger. Does have the cupola still, all the way in the back, and that is only 120. So shoot the little nubbin in the back, but you know, 152. This thing has better cupola than the tier 10 version. Surprisingly better cupola on the tier 8. I mean, 152, 120, it's about the same at high tier, but this thing has the hydropneumatic suspension, I believe, giving you better gun depression. It's not actually siege mode. You're not converting it into siege mode. It just goes into pseudo siege mode, like with the UDES vehicles. But horsepower per ton ratio is turtle, and top speed of turtle. It's actually slower than our tier 8 version. What? 60 tons. It weighs less. What? Also has lower horsepower per ton ratio, even though it weighs less. What? Has better top speed, but less horsepower per ton ratio to rev. Yeah, surprising. Yeah, weaker engine. Huh. Camo 16% compared to R. Slightly worse camo, surprisingly. Well, then again, it's very close. And view range wise, it's at the same. What? At tier 8 as on tier 10, it should be like 390 or 380 at least, but that's surprising. So this is not a new vehicle. We covered this thing. We covered the Quasimodo of a pad chassis based tank destroyer turtle thing. We already covered this, but yeah, okay. The Russian server does have different version of vehicles. Their Vickers main battle tank is at tier 8, not at tier 10. So there are a few trade-offs going back and forth. But yeah, where the hell's the Vickers main battle tank? I know I see it at tier 8. Oh, this is North America. What a stupid idiot. Goddamn. Wrong version of the vehicle. Alright, tier 8. British Vickers main battle tank. It's at tier 8. So, yeah, ooh, whoopee. This is a tier 10 assembly shop thing. Okay. So there you go, folks. All the hidden vehicles on the Russian common test for 1.29. So we'll cover all the 3D styles coming soon, but yeah, the vehicle I'm mostly excited for is this thing. This chunky boy. I wouldn't mind spending like 1 million free XP for this thing, right? I wouldn't mind this thing. This is thick. But then again, it's a Russian server, so their balancing is whack. Czolg P WZ-46? Huh. It's like their super heavy tank at the end of World War II, but woof. If the autocannons work, this thing will be a monstrosity, but no, cannot have good stuff. Well, as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
На границе тучи ходят хура, край суровый, тише 的不